training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners.
Team, welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I'm Wheezy Shoemaker, joined as always by Justin McClintock, who is making a face at me.
Not true.
We're gonna have to roll the tape on that, Justin.
For our audio listeners, this is a lie.
For our video watchers, you know the truth.
You're my secret keepers.
Although, to be really fair, you're also the editor, so you could make that entirely me.
Yeah, it's just a freeze frame of me like reading a book, carefully waiting to be called on, and then why am I being picked on?
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I've been back from Vegas for like 6 days or something, and I'm still kind of playing catch up in a way that is not unusual, but
right.
I never like feeling behind, but this was always the plan. Like, this isn't a surprise.
Right.
There's just some other stuff has come up, like just normal real life things into the schedule. And I'm suddenly like just always busy.
Right. Yeah.
Such is life.
Yeah. Such is life. Comes in waves.
How about yourself?
I'm very well.
Yeah.
I'm very well. At time of recording, our grand opening party was this past weekend, and I feel like so much of my mental and physical capacity has freed up.
Of course.
Yes, of course, I still have a full book of business, but I am not trying to single-handedly plan a grand opening event, coordinating videographer and the news and a flower bar and the food and so
it looked like it went very well.
It I don't think it could have gone better. I really don't. And it was so cool, like such an interesting amalgamation of people. Like some of them were just friends, some of them were just friends of Ted's. Some of them are current clients, some of them are graduated clients, some of them I've never personally worked with, but we've crossed paths at some point in my fitness journey. Some of them were in my referral network. Like, it was wild to see so many people from different sects of life come together. Some of them were people that I had never actually met, but who had heard of me and who, like, now we're talking about, okay, well, what would it look like to, like, we're kind of laterals to each other. What could it look like to support each other? So very, very, very successful. And I don't want to do it again, but I'm very glad it happened.
Yeah, I mean, something like this shouldn't be coming up for at least a few years. So I think you're clear for at least a little while.
Right, sure.
That's awesome.
But the news was here as well, and they came back this morning to do like an in-gym piece and shadow a session and do an interview with me, do an interview with this client who agreed to speak on camera.
Yeah.
And so I don't know when that's going to air because the person that did the piece is the like fun, lighthearted, special interest reporter. And he said, yeah, I kind of don't know because my slots are determined by like slow news day.
Right. When there's time, we reach for a fun, kind of evergreen topic.
Right.
Yep.
So he said certainly it'll be this week or next at the very latest. But like, if it's a slow news day today, it might be today. Like,
okay,
we're gonna edit it really quickly and put it together. So,
you might find out because it airs, not by the way, watch the news tomorrow.
Right. No, probably. Yeah. I probably won't get forward notice of it.
One often doesn't.
Right. But not going to drop any names at all because things might change. But we also have hired somebody to coach in person. we'll certainly share more on the podcast about this as it gets more firmed up, but they are on a 3-month contract right now. And my primary objective in that time is to kind of get them up to speed with the way that we do things at Sustained and why we do them that way. And so we've gotten the ball rolling on that, and it was very cool because they were able to come to the party and they left that feeling very fired up about,
I would imagine.
Right. About what's possible here. Because remember, a full book of business is like 12 people, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't need 1,000. I need
No.
12. Right.
I don't want 1,000.
But so in a perfect world, they would be up to speed and ready to step in to support all of my clients while I'm in Peru in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that point, get some feedback from clients, what went well, and then hopefully start to give them some folks of their own.
Yep.
So long runway. They have independently taken some initiative to sign up for some active life, like the assessment seminar.
Oh, sure. Like some of the workshop stuff.
Yeah, I didn't ask them to do that. And they seem intrigued enough by the types of things that Active Life says and the way that I ran our initial assessment that they were like, yeah, I actually would really like to know more about this.
Yeah.
Sick. That's great. I wasn't going to mandate that. And that certainly is like a nice little feather in the cap that tells me a lot about that this might be a really good fit.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how they respond to the to it being delivered by Active Life, who is essentially a third-party thing that they has credibility because of your endorsement and little else. No disparagement to Active Life, but it's not a global name at time of recording.
Right.
So seeing how they respond to that is probably useful in many ways. Like the stuff that fits and the stuff that doesn't, and etc.
Yeah. I also have some news that I wanted to share with you live.
Oh boy.
So do you remember how I told you I'm not supporting the CrossFit Games?
Yes.
Because
do you want to say what that means? Because I know what you're talking about. I don't remember if we talked about it here. That sounds like you've withdrawn sponsorship or something.
I have decided that the way to glean clients is to be a major sponsor of the CrossFit Games, that I have $1 million. Yeah, right. No. So in a previous version of my life, I helped build a competition registration and scoring platform. It's called Strongest now. It used to be called throwdowns.com. About 2 years ago or so, the fitness company Rogue, which many in fitness will recognize as prominent and excellent exercise equipment, intentionally over-engineered. They acquired a majority stake of Strongest, and I sold my stake ages ago. I didn't get any buyout from that, and I still support Strongest in a very minor contract role. Like, we're talking like an hour or two a month, maybe. But when there are large, high-profile events like the Rogue Invitational, like Red Bull sometimes uses Strongest for live scoring, meaning you're watching a broadcast or you're watching a Jumbotron and you're seeing scoring go across the top, and there's the leader and the second place is 2 seconds or 2 reps or whatever it is down. That's not powered by like AI. That's powered by people. Inputting like numbers into a tablet, and then all of those tablets feed into one system, and then that system feeds into the Jumbotron. And I know how to run the system that gets all the information.
Right.
Because I help build it. And so when there are big events, sometimes I get a phone call or an email that says, hey, would you like to come out for this? And if you would have asked me really any time between 2016 and 2023, what would be the coolest thing professionally that could happen to you? I would have told you that the coolest thing that could happen would be that the CrossFit Games decided to use Strongest to score because they've always used a different company, and that I got a tap on the shoulder.
Yep.
And so I don't believe that that's the greatest success anymore. I have a very different answer. But I got that email.
Yep.
And said no for two big reasons. One of them is that it doesn't super seem value aligned anymore, right? Like the amount that they're willing to pay me per diem is extremely fair and generous. And also, I make more than that per day here now. And
Sleeping in your
so,
own bed and eating
right,
your own food and
right,
all that
right,
other annoying stuff.
right. And I'm going to be in Peru July 15th to the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hey, we would, like, if you're able to come out, we want you to fly out on the 20th. And so it was a very easy, like, no, thank you. Really, really appreciate this. They asked Ted to go as well and said, let Ted speak for Ted. Not going to be me. We will have to try to arrange childcare if he's going to be gone because there will be then a couple days of overlap.
Right.
But, like, I'll let him handle that if he wants to do it. Thank you for thinking of me. There's no way I could be there sooner than the evening of the 22nd, so it's a no.
Yeah. And for people who haven't done this before and not knowing the logistics, but having been involved in things like this before, if you really wanted it, you probably could have negotiated something. You probably could have gotten more money. You probably could have said, I won't be there until the afternoon of the 22nd and changed a flight or something. But I'm going to hit the ground running and be prepared and everything's going to be cool. That's within the realm of believability, but you weren't even interested in pursuing that.
Right. I just said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And then the counter back was, well, we could probably make it work if you'd be willing to fly in from Peru.
Oh, I didn't know this. I was just talking out of
That's
my butt.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This is coming to you live. You're learning this in real time. I thought about telling you before this, but I thought it'd be fun to tell you this on the podcast. And what could that look like? Do you think that would be feasible? Could you do it? Knowing that I'm going to have somebody to support in-person clients. I also then checked in with Jackie Hart, who is Sustain's remote coach, to see, hey, could you support my remote clients for 12 days so that I don't come back to 1,000 notifications?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, absolutely. I could do that. Sick. And basically immediately with quite literally 2 phone calls, secured childcare for the entire time, which is not common. Usually it's like this takes an agonizing amount of time to try to figure out and yada, yada, yada. And Ted is able to get the PTO. And so, like, knowing that my in-person clients will be cared for, my remote clients will be cared for, the final piece was, okay, well, but flight fares are significantly more expensive now. And I had intentionally booked a lay flat seat because it's a 17-hour travel day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to arrive home rested. So if you'd like me to be at the CrossFit Games after 7 days of hiking at elevation, you're going to have to pay the $2,200 fare difference on maintaining this seat class, or like it's a no for me. So there's no contract at this point. And so it's tricky to say, like, yes, it's definitely happening, but it sounds like it's happening. And so it feels like a really nice way to kind of put a pin in that part of my life.
Sure.
I talked to Jackie a little bit about it, and she was like, it really feels like all of the logistics for this kind of came together in a way that they wouldn't have previously. And so I imagine that you're probably like shaming yourself a little for, why do I want this? It's not aligned. And I'm going to be away from my house for almost 14 days and going straight from a very physically strenuous to a very mentally strenuous thing.
You are going to end up very tired.
I'm going to end up very tired. That is true. That's extremely true. I'm going to take at least 1 day off on the back end.
Whoa! Don't go crazy here. Hold on.
Big spender. So I I'm excited. I am very excited, and I'll get to be there with Ted, and so inevitably the days will be long, the food will be suboptimal sometimes. I mean, I don't know. I've never worked at the games, and so they might have better offerings than some of the minor comps. I don't
I
know.
wouldn't
We'll
hold my
see.
breath. I wouldn't
We'll
hold my
see.
breath.
But the like volunteer and vendor merch is usually pretty exceptional. Like they get you a really nice swag bag and will also be compensated, and I will also be flown in lay flat.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, well this feels cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited about it, and I don't know that I'll ever do it again, but feels like it all came together nicely.
It's
So
nice to be able to do that kind of thing that was on your, like,
right.
to-do list once upon a time
Mm-hmm.
and fell off, and then have it presented to you essentially in what ended up on your own terms.
Right.
Like, "Well, I can't do this because of A, B, and C,"
Right.
and so businesses and the world came together to say, "Well, what if we just sort out A, B, and C? Then would it be
Right.
okay?" And now you're kind of in the position of like, "Oh, well, I mean,
Oh.
if all of those things somehow happen, then I guess I could do it." And then they just do, and you're like, "Oh, I should have asked for more. I really should have asked for
Right.
double the money or something."
Right. I mean, also too, like I know what people pay, and I know what I will be paying this prospective new coach initially.
Yeah,
Like, am I going to be making fully what I normally would? Absolutely not. But is it going to be like canceling all sessions for 2 weeks? No, not at
right.
all. So it all feels aligned, and I'm excited about it. And um, I'll have to make sure that I drink a ton of water before I get on that plane.
I'm excited for the check-ins, like, halfway through day 3 of the games.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Also, it just occurred to me, we're gonna have to record, like, a shitload of podcasts. You're gonna leave for a month.
2 weeks.
Eh, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll need you functional.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You're gonna be
Can
very busy 3 days before you leave for Peru
That's true.
and
That's
sorting
true.
out, like, are you
Yeah.
drop shipping technology to wherever the CrossFit Games happen now? Because you probably
Well,
don't wanna be
so
hiking with 3 laptops, so
no, the good news is that Ted will fly out too.
oh, that yeah, right,
Um,
of course.
and so I will send like my my games bag with
Mhm.
him,
Yeah,
and then he'll just like he's going to be there a few days before I am.
okay.
I am not excited about what my Peru luggage is going to smell like at the end. It's going
This
to
is gonna be
smell
one of those occasions where you
Peruvian,
take advantage of the hotel laundry.
right? With
Like,
all the
yeah.
extra time that I'm going to have at the CrossFit Games.
Well, that's what, like, not every hotel, but, like, most kind of 3 stars and up, there's a version of you can call and be like, "I have laundry, can someone
Sure.
do it?" And
Right.
it's, very not cheap, but you
Yeah.
can hand a nice person a bag and come
Sure.
back, and 10 hours later, there's folded laundry in that said bag sitting
Hey,
outside your door.
if you're wondering why this smells like a llama, I have news for you.
Yeah, because I had to cut one open and sleep inside it because it got really cold.
Oh, yeah. So we're excited, and also from a financial perspective, like it will mean because Walter is about to finish his kindergarten year, which is
Right.
crazy.
Mhm.
And summer camp costs money.
Oh, we're doing summer camps.
Well, we have to, right? Like we have to do something. He's not quite old enough that he could just stay at home.
Okay. Oh, I
And
see.
Ted is in office now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Mhm.
So he'll go to camp in Columbus, like not like
Mhm.
a drop ship my
Right.
child somewhere else situation.
Not boarding camp.
Right, no. Summer day camp.
Yeah.
And Ted was like, if we do this, that will mean absolutely like no budget implication on summer camp at all. Ah,
Yeah.
well, that's compelling. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's the news.
Congratulations. That's very exciting.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now that we've talked for 20 straight minutes about me, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're not talking about me. I have, in a very straightforward, authentic, non-clickbaity way, titled this "MRIs are bad for your back."
Yeah, let's go.
And I don't know that this is going to be the longest dig in, but I think it's an important piece. You and I have talked about this at some length, both together and with different groups of coaching colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that I think is pretty well known and acknowledged in most circles that deal with especially like musculoskeletal pain and orthopedic implication pain.
Yep.
But often not known at all outside of those circles. And that is getting imaging, X-rays, and we're talking X-rays and MRIs, overwhelming here. This isn't, I'm not talking about like ultrasounds when you're pregnant. This is around, and let's keep it with like lower back pain, since that's the most common thing. We're just doing lower back pain. X-rays and MRIs, especially in the first 6 weeks of any kind of symptoms, actually have worse outcomes than not getting them. Meaning getting the imaging literally makes people worse. They have worse clinical outcomes. Lots of bad stuff happens. There seems to be a very direct correlation through lots of different studies and lots of different subfields, whether it's orthopedics, sports medicine, chiropractic, et cetera, that the simple act of getting the imaging is the thing that leads to worse outcomes.
I can imagine that there's probably some people listening to this who say, that doesn't make any fucking sense, Justin.
Well, it sounds crazy, right?
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. How could me getting more information about the physical presentation of my body make me heal worse?
Exactly. It sounds crazy. And before we dig into it, I think it's important to say that medical imaging is nearly magic. Like, it is incredible that you can walk into a room, step into a box or in front of a panel, and there's like, it goes beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. And we see incredibly clear pictures of what's going on with your bones or cartilage or muscles. But we can see exactly what it looks like. We don't even have to like cut you open. Like, we used to have to do crazy stuff to see what was going on, or mostly guess. And now we can see it. That's amazing. And it can be very, very, very valuable for lots of things.
Well, right.
So why does it make things worse in these circumstances, especially when we're talking about what we would call non-specific back pain? We'll talk about that later. I don't want to get too sidetracked with weird definitions and stuff like that. One of the biggest reasons is false positives, meaning you see stuff on the MRI or X-ray, and the stuff is happening, but has nothing to do with your pain presentation. So and I'm actually going to share a chart in a minute about this, of all the things. I'm sharing a chart. But, I've got this back pain. Oh, well, we see you have a bulging disc L4, L5, and that's around where your pain is referring. This bulging disc is causing your pain. Might it be true? Yes.
Maybe.
Could you have had a bulging disc for the past 20 years and been completely asymptomatic?
Maybe.
Absolutely. It's really common. So you will see all of this stuff, and not to blow anyone's mind, but if you're above the age of 15 or something, you've got some stuff going on with your bones and discs and cartilage, et cetera, et cetera.
Almost certainly. And scans have the ability to show structural abnormalities. They don't have the ability to show pain or to show weakness.
Yeah. None of it. Certainly anything muscular cannot show up on these. It's not possible. So false positives being, we found a thing, but we can't tell if that is linked one way or the other. It's easy to grab onto these things. Related to that, getting a diagnosis from the things you see often causes worse outcomes. People label it, and we talk about becoming your diagnosis. People can kind of take on the identity of having a bulging disc or degenerative bone disorder or whatever. And that leads to a lot of fear. And that fear can lead to worse and worse decisions of inactivity or pursuing more invasive methods of treatment. et cetera, et cetera. So getting the diagnosis itself in these like first 6 weeks of back pain is actually usually a worse thing, as crazy as that sounds.
Right. No, I'm totally on board. You're preaching to the choir here.
Added to that, and related to both of these things, false positives and the diagnosis, is significantly what they call increased downstream care. So what happens after the image happens? So
Sure.
patients who get early imaging are far more likely to undergo unnecessary risky procedures,
Right.
spinal injections, surgeries, etc.
PRP,
all kinds
etc.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the really important part, with no clinical benefit. When you compare 1-to-1, and they've done very, very, very big studies, people with the exact same symptoms, the exact same presentations,
Right.
the people who proceeded with what we would call conservative care have far better outcomes than the people who get injections and surgeries and all of these other things.
Right. Yeah.
The routine imaging leads to longer treatments, longer, more invasive treatments, increased disability, because the more you have stuff done to you, the more likely things aren't going to go perfectly.
Right.
Shots aren't magic. Surgery is, again, amazing, but not 100%. And recovering from it has risks with every surgery. Recovery periods are tough.
Nerve damage.
Even
a
if it's just
period
being
of
sidelined for 3 months.
right.
Which
A
isn't
period of
crazy post a
deconditioning.
spine surgery.
Sure.
They also, people who have the imaging tend to have higher pain scores. And this is often labeled to that we talked before, the false positives and the getting the diagnosis.
Yeah.
But someone who has degenerative bone disorder will commonly report higher pain scores than someone with, again, the exact same presentation, but doesn't have that diagnosis.
Right.
They will tend to have lower pain scores, partly because there's like less fear.
Right. Yeah.
I'm actually going to share this table and see if I know how to do this, because I don't think we've done this live before. But let's see how it goes. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you may have seen this before, or a version of this before. What we're looking at, and we'll read some of this to you, but you probably need the video for this. We have a series of image findings, things that were found on the images, and a percentage of people by age group that this was present in. Really important about this graph, this table, all of these people were asymptomatic. These are people who did not have any pain at all. They were not there for an issue. They were just part of a study. They felt A-okay, everything feels cool. Disc degeneration, 52% of people in the 30s. More than half of people in the 30s have disc degeneration present in imaging. It jumps to 68% in your 40s and 80% in your 50s. Disc bulges, similarly, 40% of 30-year-olds, 50% of 40-year-olds, 60% of 50-year-olds. It goes on and on and on, including disc protrusions, signal loss, height loss, all things which are often pointed at as being scary and big problems, and just the sort of thing that you would say, oh, well, here's the problem. Look at this. Look, you've lost all this disc height. This is the kind of nonsense where you hear, oh, you've got the back of a 80-year-old because you have some loss of disc height, et cetera, which is a terrible thing to say to a person. Don't say that to people, medical professionals.
No.
But it gets people in their own head about that. They hear that and they drop their activity. They become more sedentary. They become more careful. They become more fearful.
Right.
All of these things compile for much, much, much worse outcomes when it wasn't called for. Doubling back on something I said earlier, that 6-week window is actually important. That's not a random time period that was pulled out of nowhere. 6 weeks with conservative care, even if that conservative care is rest. 6 weeks is how long most low back pain takes to resolve itself.
Right.
Now, it sounds like no time at all, but it can also be a long time, because we could be talking about someone who feels like they can't get out of bed.
Right.
I turn to my right and, oh my God, my back hurts so much. I need someone to help me dress and help and get me some food and hydration, and I need to call into work, and all of those things might be true. 6 weeks is forever for that kind of thing.
Right.
But we know that within 6 weeks, symptoms almost always resolve themselves. Past 6 weeks is a whole other discussion.
Right.
So this is why I'm sort of standing on MRIs are bad for your back, especially in that initial presentation of, oh, my back hurts, or I woke up, or I sneezed and I threw my back out, or like, what the heck is going on? Rushing to get imaging or being rushed to get imaging is actually the kind of thing that is probably the wrong road. And most medical professionals know that.
Yeah. Right. This, I wonder if my recent back throwout inspired this for you, or if this was already planned.
It was on my radar from that. And then this idea came up talking with another coach in Vegas, actually, about imaging and how they, I don't remember, it might have been a chiropractor, but someone that this coach worked with did imaging on a first visit with everybody.
Right.
And I said, I mean, I understand that from a billing perspective, but that's a real bad idea.
Right.
And we got to go down this road a little bit. And I thought it'd be, because I was surprised this coach didn't know this. And I'm reminded again and again that you and I love, because I would think, I consider you kind of a technician. And I mean that in a complimentary way, where your toolbox is pretty deep and you can go pretty deep on most subjects.
Right.
It's easy for people like us to forget some of the basics sometimes.
Right. Sure.
And returning to those is important. And then we can go deep, deep, deep on all the niche stuff and the if then, but it, but or kind of stuff.
Right.
Possibly important to say. When is imaging definitely a good idea? So we've been talking about non-specific back pain. And that is like, something happened or something minor happened. I bumped into the coffee table and now my back hurts terribly. That's non-specific back pain. If we suspect there's been serious trauma, if you got hit by a car, you should probably have some imaging.
You should, yeah.
If we severe or progressing neurological deficits, and this is like tingling, numbness, weakness, especially in the legs, bladder, bowel incontinence, sudden unexplained weight loss, ongoing fever paired with this back pain is no good. And certainly any suspicion of underlying significant conditions. Like if we think there's a decent chance you could have cancer, MRIs are good for that kind of stuff. If we think there's reason to think you might have an infection from something, certainly any kind of fracture, something happened and we have a reason to believe you could have a spinal fracture. Yeah, definitely. Please get that looked at. That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. Right. We're talking more about, like, to use my very specific example for this. I'd been sick a while. I had a very, very, very vigorous cough. I was under a lot of stress. I was in the final stages of planning the party. I coughed really, really hard, and I literally felt my back like, and fell to my hands and knees, right? And then basically like hobbled around with my glutes tucked for the next 3 or 4 days and did exactly what we're describing in terms of, okay, well, now what? Right? Like, okay, sick. I'm going to try to recover like it's my job. Like, I am in bed for 11 hours a night and I am drinking 150 ounces of water a day. And I am making sure that I'm overeating protein and carbs so that my body has the necessary fuel to heal and get better. Right? Like 14 days ago, I couldn't walk comfortably. And I am back to basically training at normal intensity with a tiny few, like, okay, well, let's go into this with how does this feel, not what did you do last time, which is a pretty good way to approach training all the time.
Most days.
Not just when you're recovering from something.
I thought it might be worth also talking about how to kind of advocate yourself and avoid this, because there's lots of situations, and I was relatively recently in one where you go to a medical professional and it for very reasonable reasons, and they say, okay, well, we're going to get some x-rays done, or we're going to get an MRI done. You can, when I went to an orthopedist, I don't even remember now. I guess it was like 3 months ago. I remember we talked about it on here. And that was ipso facto just what happened before I even saw the doctor. They're like, okay, well, you're definitely getting an MRI, so let's do this. And they walked me next door to the MRI room and it happened and walked back. I let that happen on purpose, partly because I was very, very aware of ways I was willing to go and ways I was not willing to go. There was a 0% chance I was going to be getting surgery. There was a very, very, very low chance I would be getting any kind of injection or things like that. It was mostly there as backup, and getting the diagnosis would let my physical therapist do more stuff, because the health insurance system is a fucking nightmare. If I have a diagnosis on the books, now the PT can say, well, this patient was diagnosed with so-and-so, so we definitely need to do more kinds of work like this.
Right.
And I could afford it easily. This was mostly covered by insurance. I knew exactly what it would cost. This was a no big deal. I've got the time, and I know where this is going. I'm driving it. If you get this suggested to you, one of the best questions I think you can ask is this likely to change my course of treatment?
Sure.
Because especially, and not to harp on it, but especially in the first 6 weeks of any back symptoms, the answer is almost definitely no.
Yeah.
With non-specific pain presentation, they're not going to do anything different for the first 6 weeks, because not all of the literature supports doing this conservative treatment for 6 weeks. So that's what's going to work. That's what they're going to do. If it's been 4 months, entirely different story.
Entirely different story.
But will this likely change my course of treatment? And if they say, well, not this month, it's like, great. Then let's put it off. Can we wait? Yeah. Until the answer is yes to that question, I would prefer not to go through this, because it's kind of like the way I talk to people about getting a DEXA scan or a body fat percentage read. It's like, well, time out. What exactly are you going to do with this information?
Right.
Before we get excited about all the incredible science we can do, what are you going to do when you get this information? And if it's not going to change your action or the direction we're going in, you may well be better off without the information.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's sort of my be careful about imaging, watch out for back pain stuff. But I thought it was important to talk about. Again, I was surprised that there were professionals who didn't know this. So there's almost definitely, we call you normies behind your back. That's what you, there's almost definitely normies.
Speak for yourself. I call them shoobies. Are you of the generation that watched that show, Rocket Power or whatever?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, great. Cool. There is a show, somebody listening out there is going to remember it. It might be called Rocket Power. It's an animated show about maybe like a surfer or skateboard gang.
Sure.
Like middle school-ish age kids that mostly exist with their shoes off. And they would, like, it's like a beach town type situation. It might be set in Jersey. I don't know. Someone out there who is listening or watching this is like shouting at the podcast right now. And they notice people walking around in shoes, and like that's what they flag that person as, like, you're not one of us, you're a shoebie.
That's how you can tell you're not from around here, are you?
Yeah, you're wearing shoes. Shoobies.
A shoebie.
Shoebie!
I don't know if we've talked about this, but I imagine it's not going to be surprising to you that I had a pretty significant magic phase.
Yeah. We have talked about this.
Like as a grown-up, like doing magic in bars for people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When magicians talk to each other, do you know how they refer to people? Not always. They say lots of things, but one of the terms that stuck out to me, they refer to people who aren't, like, in the magician circle, the laity. So like lay people, but they'll refer to it as the laity.
What?
I was like,
what?
Guys,
nerds.
We are not helping ourselves. Like,
this is so nerdy. like a singular, like, entity. The laity. No, I don't. That gives me the ick. That I have goosebumps. That in not a good way. That's giving me the ick.
Yeah, exactly.
The
exactly.
laity.
Like if you want to go to a place where it's like overwhelmingly weird dudes, it's like powerlifting meets and a magician's conference. That's like not exclusively, But
No.
overwhelmingly.
Yeah, overwhelmingly weird.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm preparing for a little bit in the CrossFit Games is a lot of religious tattoos.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A number of American flags.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody, but a lot of a military presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll keep to my little team and keep my
Where
mouth closed.
where are the games happening this year?
It's in San Jose this year.
Oh, okay, sure.
Which is close to Dave Castro's ranch.
Got it. Okay.
So
Sure.
yeah, sure. I will almost certainly have the distinct pleasure of being the first person to know who's won the CrossFit Games and having Dave and the Hennigers and the head judge glowering at me. And it will be a privilege.
Yeah. Hold on, just double checking. I'll tell you in a second.
I'll
Hold
tell
on.
you in a moment. If you could just give me 90 seconds, and if I can feel your breath on my neck, you're too close to me.
I had some dear friends do the lighting for the CrossFit Games a number of years ago, and they had a horrible time. They came in like who've done like, and these people only do giant, super high profile events. Like you have seen their work on TV and stuff a whole bunch of times.
Right.
They're some of the best on the planet at this. And they were like, these people are awful. They're completely crazy. Especially the workout secrecy was so significant.
Sure, yeah.
And these people who like, I don't know who anyone competing is. I don't really, I certainly don't have a deep understanding of your sport. I know what it looks like and I know what the arena is. And if we can plan around that, it takes us,
we need to.
We can do several hours of kind of pre-production prep to make this look amazing. And they wouldn't tell them anything.
Wouldn't do it. Right.
Like this is part of the production. Like you're shipping equipment places, right? Like stuff is showing up and people are like, oh, I guess there's sandbags because we've got 50, 200-pound sandbags sitting here on a pallet waiting to get carted out.
Right.
That would be enough. They wouldn't tell them anything. They got so many notes about like, we think some of the lights are in the athlete's eyes. I mean, yeah, it's on TV. What? No, you got to turn these lights off and turn these lights off. You're not allowed to do this, and not like they fought them every step of the way, making it look like something that belonged on TV because they only cared about the live experience, and yet we're paying a ton of money to put it on TV. It was a real disconnect.
Yeah, that kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Part of like, I guess, the risk in me potentially going out as late as I'm going out is that I won't have any time to get acclimated with any of the workouts. And they certainly won't share those with me ahead of time. Like there's absolutely no way. There is a very, very small list of people that is need to know, and I am not on it.
Right.
But then the risk of showing up like one day before live is that usually at the games there are some fun twists regarded to like, how is this going to be scored and what might I need to know about it. And I won't know that. So the good news about that is that I won't be stressed about it in Peru.
Yeah, you won't know. What are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
And do the best you can.
Yeah. Should we do a segment?
I think we should.
So today's segment is very timely to today, and it will be late by the time it comes out. I don't know if you know this or not, but today is Cinco de Mayo.
It is.
And I thought that it might be fun if we did a little bit of Cinco de Mayo true or false trivia.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, sure. So I'm going to read you a sentence, and you are going to say if it is true or if it is false. And then I will tell you whether or not you are correct.
I like the setup.
Number 1. Cinco de Mayo is the celebration of Mexico's Independence Day.
I don't think that's true. I think no.
You are correct. That is false. Cinco de Mayo is often confused with Mexican Independence Day, but it actually commemorates a significant battle during the Franco-Mexican War that took place in Puebla.
There it is.
The Mexican army, who was considered the underdogs, overtook the French and emerged victorious. This was on Mexican Independence Day, rather, was
Right.
about 50 years earlier than this happened.
Mm.
True or false? Mexicans celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
I don't think I don't think so, because it's such like a minor holiday. I think this is almost entirely an American invention.
That is correct. That is false.
Mhm.
Cinco de Mayo translates to the 5th of May, which is when the holiday is celebrated in Puebla, where it originated. However, so it is celebrated in Mexico, but
Right.
that's not what people call it there. The holiday's official name is El Dia de la Batalla de Puebla, which translates to the Day of the Battle of Puebla in English.
Also very descriptive.
Very descriptive. The Day of the Battle of Puebla.
But it's more of a local celebration, like a like Patriots Day in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Mexican army was outnumbered 3-1.
Oh, that against the French? Because the French used to really like fighting. I could believe that. I'll say true.
That is true. The Mexican army was largely outnumbered and poorly supplied, with only outdated guns. As few as 2,000 Mexican soldiers defeated 6,000 French soldiers during the battle.
Wow.
True or false? The commanding general was honored with a national holiday.
The commanding general who, so I was it Santa Anna? That's what I'm wondering. Who's the only Mexican general whose name I know off the top of my head, because I went to elementary school in Texas. I'm going to say true.
It is true. And Ignacio Zaragoza was the Mexican general who led the army that defeated the French. He was only 33 at the time.
Whoa.
And so he made the day a national holiday, right? The Dia de Batalla de Puebla. I butchered that. However, later that same year, President Juarez decreed changing the name of the city of Puebla de Los Angeles to Puebla de Zaragoza in his honor.
Oh.
So that one is a yes and. True or false? Patrons in California were the first to celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
So that's believable. So there's huge Mexican presence in California, especially down like near Baja and places like that. But it's such like a bastardization, and I'm missing the word, but the thing where you take someone else's culture
and
the appropriative, like it's so
sure, very
appropriation that I almost think California wouldn't do it, and it's going to be like Arizona or even like flipping Jersey, but it could be. So I'm going to say trepidatiously true.
It is unfortunately true.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And listen to this for appropriation. Residents in the state were so excited that they celebrated with parades of people dressed in Civil War attire.
Whoa! I thought we were just going sombreros.
No.
Dear.
No. In Northern California, however, one town partied with drinks, food, and banquets.
Mm-hmm.
And it was likely the first Cinco de Mayo fiesta.
Of course it was Northern California.
Of course it was NorCal. NorCal. Okay, 2 more. Are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
True or false? FDR helped commercialize Cinco de Mayo.
FDR? No. False.
It's true.
Really?
It's true. Although it was celebrated in the United States just weeks after the Battle of Puebla, see our Californian friends, Cinco de Mayo didn't gain traction in the U.S. until 1933. That's when FDR helped create the Good Neighbor policy, which aimed to establish positive exchanges and relationships with our Latin American neighbors. So we then started celebrating a holiday that they celebrate, but we named it something else. Yeah. And we don't really call attention to that it's a battle, but rather just that it's a day to drink margaritas and eat guacamole.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty
I did eat guacamole today.
I had guacamole this weekend.
Oh.
Okay, last one. Americans eat 50 million pounds of avocado on May 5th. True or false?
50 million pounds. Okay, there's a lot of people. How
Mm-hmm.
much avocado I bet I'm usually a 1 avocado per bowl of guacamole guy, but there's guac in so much stuff now. You can add guac to, like, every taco and every burrito and
Right.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
How much is an avocado weigh? An avocado is probably a pound, maybe
Sure.
more. So that's like 50 million servings? That doesn't seem crazy. I'm gonna say true.
It's false, but it's because, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Americans eat over 80 million pounds of avocado on Cinco de Mayo alone.
I'm gonna have to. They also eat 50 million pounds of avocados. Like, I'm not wrong. I see. I'll take the L here, but I mean, they do eat 50 million. They just keep going. They also eat 1 pound of avocados.
Yes, and this is why we can't afford houses.
Because of all the guacamole.
Because of all the guacamole on our appropriated holiday.
Weirdly, most of it goes on avocado toast. That is an underreported fact.
Yeah, that's true. Underreported. That's Cinco de Mayo trivia.
Sweet. I think I did okay on that one.
You did. You got the last 2 wrong, but you got everything else right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of 7.
Yeah, I'll
Respectable.
take it. I think that's not even failing. I think that's like 67% or something, right?
Yeah, that's, D's get degrees.
There it is. Done and done.
There you
Do
go.
you know that there's a not terribly well-regarded restaurant, I think is based somewhere in the Midwest, and they have the trademark on Taco Tuesday?
Certainly it's not Tijuana Flats.
I think it's Taco John's. I think.
Hang on. I need to know this.
I might be wrong, but there's a reason that, like, Taco Bell doesn't talk about Taco Tuesdays, and, like, Giant and Chipotle doesn't do a Taco Tuesdays thing. It's because it's trademarked. So, like, your corner Mexican place probably does it, but
Taco John's. It is no longer trademarked in the U.S.
Oh, they lost it.
Taco John's and Gregory's Restaurant and Bar relinquished their rights, so the phrase is free for everyone to use.
Oh, well,
this is a recent development. This was October 2023.
Okay, that was just one of those things I knew that was like, I think it was Taco John's had the trademark to Taco Tuesdays, which meant like back when Happy Birthday was not public domain.
Sure.
That's why every flippin' family restaurant had their own special birthday song. It's because they weren't allowed to sing Happy Birthday.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without licensing fees.
Well, we know, of course, that my extremely literal son several months ago came home and, Mommy, it's Tuesday. You're right. It is Tuesday. Is there something else you'd like to say? Yeah, why aren't we having tacos? What do you mean? Well, it's Tuesday and we should have tacos on Tuesdays and we're not. Why?
I mean, I'm with him. Just like the campaign posters in my lawn say, I'm with him.
Just like that. Yes. I want to tell you the story and then I think we should close the book on today's episode.
Very well.
So on Saturday morning, which of course was the morning of the party.
Yes.
I did not sleep especially well because I was as nervous as you would expect me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And woke up maybe like 5:45, right? And had maybe been up for all of 2 minutes when I hear fast, tiny feet quickly approaching. And the door flings open. And Walter, in his pajama bottoms only, goes, I came as fast as I could. And I said, hello, good morning. What do you mean? And he said, well, I heard you. and I came as fast as I could.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. How long have you been up there waiting,
You
awake,
stirring slightly in your bed.
listening?
He's like, I picture him in his bed, like actually like ear pressed against a floorboard or something. I forget how your house is laid out, but like listening, and then just hear like your bed creak and a full Tex Avery like bing, a cloud of dust appears. He's just gone. There's a blur moving through the house.
Right. Yeah. And then the next thing out of his mouth was, I wanted to pet Betty before she went outside. And I was like, I have terrible news for you. She's already outside. Ah!
All this work, all this planning,
Foiled.
foiled again. I guess I'll try tomorrow morning. Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah. Two very, very different children. Walter bum rushing in like Mighty Mouse himself.
Yeah.
And Jack, who you have to practically drag out of bed for the day.
Yeah. I'm sure that won't become more severe when he's 16 years old.
No, it's a phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't everything.
Yeah. Right. Sure. Team. This has been Training Partners. I'm Weezy Shoemaker. That's Justin McClintock. We will see you next time.
Later, gang.
It's time for the training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to laugh and learn with our new best friend so bright. It's time for the training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to shine.